I tell you what, I am absolutely freezing out here to bring you this video today, Winston Frederick Sterzel. But you know, it's all worth it. This is going to be a good one, a spectacular one, Winston Frederick Sterzel. The actual chef's kiss of lies, Winston Frederick Sterzel. But first, you know what, I just wanted to mention, I thought that cowboy hat suited you pretty well that I used in the thumbnail 2 days ago, Winston Frederick Sterzel. And it kind of makes me wonder if you are disappointed that more people didn't click on it, are you? Anyway, let's get right into it. This is from The China Show last Friday, Winston Frederick Sterzel.
We have an explosive episode for you today.
Absolutely.
Actually explosive.
This is top tier in terms of content insanity.
Okay, I have to say, I agree with that statement, Winston Frederick Sterzel. This is, in fact, content insanity, Winston Frederick Sterzel.
Like
also,
blowing up stuff, drones crashing into stadiums.
yeah, I did want to, because people are probably clicking for that, right?
Yeah.
We will get to that. We have a lot of details
That's part
about
of Soft
it.
Power Hour.
It is getting buried, which makes this very, very interesting. In fact, only one source has managed to hold on to this story.
Holy cow, Winston Frederick Sterzel. The story's getting buried, and only one source managed to hold on to it, right, Winston Frederick Sterzel?
So it's obviously something China's trying to hide.
Yes,
You're
as
definitely
usual.
going to want to pay attention in case they pull the stream on us.
Yeah.
Wow. Who knew that the Chinese government was capable of pulling a stream off of YouTube, Winston Frederick Sterzel? I certainly didn't know that.
We've already received a threat.
We've received a threat.
A threat not to cover the drone
Oh,
part
really?
of the episode.
So the China Show was just getting started and already you received a threat? That's crazy. Who could be threatening you, Winston Frederick Sterzel? You know, no doubt, I guess, the Chinese government, right, Winston Frederick Sterzel? You guys are that important.
And obviously somebody does not want us to talk about this drone mishap in China. So that means you should go to your social media right now. Tell everyone that this stream might be pulled because this is going to be interesting.
So I'm a little confused about why your followers should go to their social media, Winston Frederick Sterzel, to tell everyone that this stream might be pulled. Seems like a pretty odd request, but anyway, let's continue.
Just want to point that out.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Obviously trying to hide that story.
Oh, yes.
Guys, we're going to have some serious... I want to hype... Might as well hype the audience while we do the
Yeah.
poll. We're getting an unbelievable amount of threats based on this topic. China military drone attacked its own Olympic stadium.
You're getting an unbelievable amount of threats, Winston Frederick Sterzel. What the heck? Is the government of China emailing you directly? Is that where you're reading from, Winston Frederick Sterzel? Are the threats going to your WeChat account, Winston Frederick Sterzel? I didn't see any threats in the chat, Winston Frederick Sterzel. Seems pretty strange.
Remember when I said there was only one source that managed to hold on to it?
Oh, yeah, they don't want this going out.
I guess we're about to be number 2.
Wow. What a scoop, Winston Frederick Sterzel. And you guys are now one of the only 2 sources for this story. Right, Winston Frederick Sterzel? Maybe you'll get a Pulitzer Prize or something like that, Winston Frederick Sterzel.
It's interesting. Tell your friends to be here for Soft Power Hour at least, because that's where we're going to be covering it. It'll be interesting to see what kind of mass attacks we get on the concurrent viewers.
Yeah.
I'm sure this isn't some kind of marketing ploy, right, Winston Frederick Sterzel?
Now, we're going to get into the drone attack.
Yes.
Okay. So this is what happened in Jingzhou in Hubei
So I didn't think...
yesterday.
I thought it was a huge deal, but I didn't know what a big deal it was until I saw all the posts getting pulled.
Yeah.
It's interesting because we found this military website that still had some stuff up about it. But originally, before all that happened, before that military website had any info, this was going around the Chinese internet before it was getting pluck, pluck, pluck.
Yep.
And that's what made us pay attention to it. Like, why are they pulling all these videos?
Ha ha! Damn, Winston Frederick Sterzel. You guys have one of those high-frequency generator receivers, Winston Frederick Sterzel, like in the Batman movie, right? I thought that was just in the movies, Winston Frederick Sterzel.
And a high-frequency generator receiver.
You took my sonar concept.
I mean, otherwise, Winston Frederick Sterzel, can you please explain in the comments below how you could see all the videos getting pulled, plucked, Winston Frederick Sterzel? How did you see that?
Now, I'd like you to pay attention to the very top one. Yeah, take a look. Bam. Don't know if you saw it. Don't worry, I did zoom it in.
I'm sure glad you're zooming in, Winston Frederick Sterzel. I could hardly see it. It's so blurry.
Okay, so
So
here I
here's the
slowed it down.
drone.
You can see it up there. Can you see it? You can see
Yes.
it's got a very long wingspan.
Yeah.
And one of the wings looks like it came off.
Yeah.
Bam.
Wow, that really blew up, eh? Into the stadium.
Okay, all that seems to check out, Winston Frederick Sterzel. Does that mean that you guys are turning a new leaf, Winston Frederick Sterzel? Maybe doing some serious journalism now?
Here we can see it again in super slow-mo. There it comes in. Smack. And you can clearly see that it is a Chinese drone. A military drone.
Wait a second, Winston Frederick Sterzel. You know what? I had to get my reading glasses for that. I couldn't quite clearly see that it was a Chinese drone or a military drone, Winston Frederick Sterzel. I played that clip again with my reading glasses on. Here, I'll play it here again.
Here we can see it again in super slow-mo. There it comes in. Smack. And you can clearly see that it is a Chinese drone. A military drone.
Nope, I still couldn't see it, Winston Frederick Sterzel, that it was a Chinese drone or a military drone. You must have some awesome eyesight, Winston Frederick Sterzel.
Okay, there's a picture of what the drone looks like. You can compare...
The Elong 2H.
Yeah, that's right. It's the Yilong 2H drone.
Yes, Winston Frederick Sterzel, that is clearly a military drone. You can tell by the bright contrasting paint job, Winston Frederick Sterzel. Military hardware is often painted in colors to be easily seen and identified. Right, Winston Frederick Sterzel?
But this was pulled like lightning off the Chinese internet.
Yeah.
When people started sharing the videos. It was such a rapid response to pulling it that it clearly is a big deal to China. I don't know if they don't want people to know what kind of drones they're testing or something. It's obviously some sort of secret.
Now,
Obviously, the Chinese government can't hide anything from you guys, Winston Frederick Sterzel.
Now, the thing is, these drones are military drones. They can be used for civilian use.
Wow! The Chinese military are camouflaging their military aircraft now to look like a civilian aircraft, Winston Frederick Sterzel. Very clever, right, Winston Frederick Sterzel? Only you guys could have figured that one out.
Yeah.
They can be used to facilitate communications and, you know, whatever, survey things and all that. But of course, it's a military drone.
It seems like you guys went silent about the attacks, Winston Frederick Sterzel. Does that mean that the Chinese government has given up attacking you at this point, Winston Frederick Sterzel? You've already exposed what they were trying to hide, so they might as well give up, right, Winston Frederick Sterzel?
If we go back to the actual crash footage right here, you can see. Wait for it.
There's like one frame where you can kind of see it, yeah, like clearly, semi-clearly.
If your partner can see that clearly, Winston Frederick Sterzel, his eyes are also much better than mine, but probably not as good as yours, right, Winston Frederick Sterzel?
And it's very interesting how much the Chinese government didn't want us to talk about this drone.
Oh, so it was, in fact, the Chinese government who was attacking you, Winston Frederick Sterzel.
Anyway, the source is down below. Check it out for yourself.
I clicked on the link in your description for the source, Winston Frederick Sterzel. Actually, Winston Frederick Sterzel, you got 4 links down there in your description. But only one has anything to do with the story, Winston Frederick Sterzel. Well, it does appear to be a military website, Winston Frederick Sterzel. It's not the Chinese military Winston Frederick Sterzel. It says it's the Ukrainian military portal. Anyway, even in the story, they indicate that the drone was a Elong 2H. As you reported, Winston Frederick Sterzel, you reported that correctly. Apparently, the Elong 2H is a civilian version of the Wing Loon, Winston Frederick Sterzel, Wing Loon 2. The Wing Loon 2 is the military version. Did you not read the story that you linked to, Winston Frederick Sterzel? I did. Also, if you had done even the smallest, most basic research, Winston Frederick Sterzel, like a Google search, you would have seen that the Wing Loon 2 military drone is similar, but not the same, especially the colors. So, Winston Frederick Sterzel, you guys either didn't even read the source that you linked in the description, Winston Frederick Sterzel, or you lied, Winston Frederick Sterzel. Which is kind of weird if you didn't read the source, right? I did a quick search on Chinese social media, Winston Frederick Sterzel, to see if the rest of your story checks out. That'll help determine whether or not you lied, Winston Frederick Sterzel. There is literally a ton of Chinese social media to choose from, Winston Frederick Sterzel. Apparently you know that, right? But I mainly use only 3. Sometimes I'll look around on Douyin, you know, when I'm bored or whatever, Winston Frederick Sterzel. Sometimes I'll use Baidu for research or maps, Winston Frederick Sterzel. As a last resort, Winston Frederick Sterzel, sometimes I'll take a look at Xiaohongshu. But Xiaohongshu is not very reliable, Winston Frederick Sterzel. I just checked those 3. I didn't search for military drone crashes into stadium, Winston Frederick Sterzel. Even your source says it was a civilian drone, Winston Frederick Sterzel. So I searched for rescue drone crashes into stadium. First, here's what I found over on Douyin, Winston Frederick Sterzel.
飞机关下来的，直接把奥体转达。飞机关下来的，直接把奥体转达。飞机关下。
飞机掉下来了是吧？飞机妈烧了！哎呀，飞机掉下来了。
无人机测试失控事件，2024年12月12日，星期四，荆州。
我去，飞机掉下来了！我去，飞机掉下来了！
飞机掉下来，我是你经常来的。飞机奥体着火。
飞机掉下来了！飞机掉下来了！哇，好吓人啊！这火好大好大！
是飞机掉下来的，我们看来的。
Now, this is what I found on Baidu.
"飞机掉下来了是吧？飞机妈烧了！哎呀，飞机掉下来了。
别往旁边去！哎。
飞机钻下来的，
真的福大命大，飞机就掉我面前了。
我先看到一张纸飞下来了，那个
飞机掉下来了是吧？飞机妈烧了！哎。
Last and also the least reliable, Xiaohongshu, Winston Frederick Sterzel. They'll probably have nothing there, right? Maybe that's where you looked.
消防你不是那个飞机的零嘛烧水啊，还没记录的。
飞机掉下来了。
要往前走，
往后面走，爆炸了咋办？哎，你还要？
就在今天中午，湖北荆州一大型无人机坠落，坠机瞬间燃起大火，好在只有1人受伤。起因是该区域附近一公司在做无人机测试，失控后撞向建筑物。咱们就是说，你这一大架飞机就不能找个空旷点的地方试飞吗？这回撞这一下，不仅赔钱，肯定还要被限飞了，真是亏麻了。小编提。
飞机掉下来的，我是你经常来。
无人机已经深入到我们生活的方方面面，但一个惊人的事故让人心头一紧。12月12日。
So I take back my Pulitzer Prize comment, Winston Frederick Sterzel. Apparently you are not one of just 2 sources for this story, Winston Frederick Sterzel. And the part about being attacked and the Chinese government wanting to shut down your stream, Winston Frederick Sterzel, turns out it's all just a bunch of nonsense, and you guys made it all up, Winston Frederick Sterzel. Chinese social media seems to be like inundated with this story, Winston Frederick Sterzel. So, what's my conclusion, Winston Frederick Sterzel? I think you might be able to figure it out. Well, I think most people accept clickbait as not being actual deception, Winston Frederick Sterzel, but it appears that you guys carried on the clickbait throughout the entire video, Winston Frederick Sterzel. While I do believe it's a good marketing ploy, Winston Frederick Sterzel, it was obviously a conscious decision that the two of you made, Winston Frederick Sterzel, to deceive your followers. I should also mention, it's not the first time I've seen you guys pull off this kind of stunt, Winston Frederick Sterzel. I just didn't expose it when I saw it in the past. I hope your followers will learn that you deceived them, Winston Frederick Sterzel. What kind of channel are you guys running over there, Winston Frederick Sterzel? Very similar how you just make negative content about China for the money. Now you deceive your own viewers for the money, Winston Frederick Sterzel. Disgusting. Actually, you guys deceive your viewers all the time, Winston Frederick Sterzel, but usually it's not so blatant.
I also happen to personally own a black belt in karate. You know, there's a story behind that.
Sure.
I earned it, but you know, I didn't go do the classes or anything.
Right.
But I earned it. I have a black belt. I have a karate. I can say it like this. I have a karate black belt.
Right.
And I do. It's in my closet.